Dele Momodu is a businessman. He's a media person, owns the Ovation magazine. He's been involved in Nigeria's politics at the highest level. He was spokesperson of the PDP in the just ended elections. He was hoping Atiku would win the election. He's joined us on the line from Nigeria. Mr. Momodu, you're welcome to CTFM.
Good evening, Ghana. How are you?
We are fine. Ghana misses you. When I coming back to give us some big event or take part in some big event for us here, since things have settled down there, you
Oh,
can come back to your first home.
I'm always in Ghana, so maybe you just didn't realize it. I'm always in Ghana.
Okay, nice. Today you have a new president. Um, even though he's on the same party, does it mean there's any change in Nigeria or is the same old same? And I'm asking you this question minded by the fact that you belong to the party that is not the one in power.
Well, my position on the state of our country, Nigeria, is very simple and straightforward. As I've mentioned elsewhere earlier today, I'm a loyal member of the PDP, and I owe absolute allegiance to Nigeria and its rule of law. So my political party, PDP, Labour Party, and others have gone to court. So we will stand on that because we believe that the presidential election was highly manipulated by the ruling party APC. So the cases are in court, and nothing will make me to abandon that my party personally. That's the way I am. I'm a man of principle. I won't abandon my party on the altar of convenience or profit. Win or lose, we will continue to stand on that principle because democracy is a game of choice, and we're resolutely standing by our candidate, the former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who has taken the honorable and peaceful step of going to court to seek redress. So that is where we stand. Until the court case or cases are decided, that is where we will continue to stand.
Which means that you do not really recognize the election and you continue not to until the court makes a final determination.
No, we don't. Our party does not recognize that the election has been concluded.
What does your
And
law
it's not
say,
just my
though?
party. I mentioned the Labour Party just
Yes,
now.
I get. When I said you, I meant you collective as those who have gone to the court. Now we do know that your election was what 3 months ago. How does your judicial system work? Does it say that there should be a determination by the court before swearing in? Because I presume that's why you have such a lengthy time for the inauguration after the election.
Unfortunately, the judicial process in Nigeria and in many parts of Africa can be very cumbersome. And so it takes a lot of time, but we believe that the struggle continues. We are still within the limits of the judicial process, and we will pursue that to its logical conclusion.
Your decision to go to court and without prejudice to what your expectations are and your position on the election of Tinubu, he has been sworn in, and that swearing in ceremony was attended by lots of heads of states. You could say legally he has a legitimacy, even though you are challenging that. So, without prejudice to your case in court, let's talk about the new president and the party he represents. Muhammad Buhari leaves Lagos tomorrow, Abuja tomorrow, to his base to go and take care of cows and sheep, like he says. What would be your verdict on his tenure of office before we talk about what you would expect the new government to do if you even recognize it at all in the future?
Former President Muhammadu Buhari has already departed Abuja. He's already in his hometown of Daura in Katsina State. He left immediately after in fact, he left during the ceremony with his wife, with his family. And I saw a footage of him arriving in Daura. earlier today, the Vice President, former Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, also departed Abuja for Lagos. So he's in Lagos. So they've left. And of course, there will be a mixed reaction to their tenure. And we leave history and posterity to judge them.
The comment he made about Nigerians being difficult, was that in jest or it's something that he takes seriously? Being difficult to govern Nigerians.
Oh, he's always held that view that Nigerians are difficult to govern, but I'm of the view that Nigerians are in fact not too difficult to govern because we've never seen so much delivery from our leaders. So whenever a leader gives us a mere token, of achievement, we hail such a leader. We jump up, and I mean the level of infrastructure development that you see in some parts of Africa, like Ghana, you hardly see in Nigeria. So that's why you hear Nigerians say that, oh, if we borrow us some Ghanaian leaders for a few months, we'll be very delighted, So we're looking forward to that day when we would have serious leaders who would invest heavily in infrastructure revolution and education, the quality of education, Medicare. I mean, during the COVID era, you saw how Ghana had excess bed capacity to take care of patients. They didn't have to go for emergency, field operations like we did in Nigeria. So we're hoping that the government in Nigeria, legitimate or not, will be able to cater to the needs of the people of Nigeria.
Okay, the issue of age was a big one in the just ended election. Buhari was accused of being absent-minded by critics. He has been a military ruler before in the early 80s before he returned to power through civilians or democratic means. Now you have paraded a number of candidates in the just ended election. Your own person that you were tipping, Atiku Abubakar, is not growing any younger. The man who was being sworn in today, not any younger. Even though Peter Obi would have been the youngest of them, you have returned power, and I mean Nigerians, to another old person. What do ordinary Nigerians think, and what's your own view on Tinubu's age vis-a-vis Muhammad Buhari's age just having left office today?
Well, age is always a factor. Yes, please.
I can hear.
Go on,
yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Age is always a factor. But age cannot be the only determinant of who we should vote for. When you look at the electoral process, especially around the world, you will know that it takes time sometimes for people to arrive at their destination. The former president of Ghana, John Adjei Kufuor, contested 3 times before he became the president of Ghana. So you can imagine at the time he started contesting, he must have been much younger. Same thing with Professor Tamil. He contested 3 times before he made it. Same thing with Nana Akufo-Addo. He contested 3 times. And it's almost the same thing. In fact, his was longer with President Muhammadu Buhari, contested 4 times. And he came back to power exactly 30 years after he left as military head of state. So I think it's the process that makes them old. It is not that, they started contesting in their old age. Atiku Abubakar started contesting, I'm sure, from 2007. So that would be a minimum of about 16 years ago. So he was a much younger person when he started contesting. No, as a matter of fact, he started contesting in 1993. He contested against Chief Monshood Abiola in 1993. So you can imagine how young he was at that time. So it's the process. If you don't give up on your ambition. When I first contested in 2011 to be president of Nigeria, I was 51 years old. Today I'm 63. So if I decide to contest again next time in another 4 years, this I'll be 67. If I make it or if I don't make it, if you had another 4 years to it, then I'll be 70. I'll be 71. So it's the process that makes it very difficult for people to make it in their younger age. Peter Obi, was in my house 2 weeks ago. I told him, I said, you still have a chance because by the next election, it will just be about 64, 65. So it's not easy for you to make it at first attempt. We've seen such examples all over the world. Look at how old Joe Biden is today. To think that he served under a much younger president, Barack Obama. So age alone cannot determine whether a leader is going to be good or bad. But we've seen a lot of fantastic leaders who are old, who are conscientious, who are hardworking and forward-looking.
Thank you so much, Chief, for speaking to us.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too. That's Chief Dele Momodu, former presidential candidate for the People's Democratic Party in Nigeria, who is also a businessman and a media practitioner. Let's now go to a journalist, a data journalist that is, with a cable newspaper in Nigeria, Victor Ejechi. Victor, you're welcome to Eyewitness News on Citi FM in Accra, Ghana.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you so much for having me.
What is the mood in Nigeria? You have a court action ongoing against an election, but you have a new president who has been elected. What is the general mood amongst Nigerians?
So generally, first of all, we've had a peaceful transition of power, and then we now have a president. This is the seventh transition we are experiencing in our democracy, and the 16th president. So while we know that there have been grievances, people have been having mixed feelings as regards this particular election, but of course, Nigerians have been hopeful that this particular administration will give us the dividends of democracy. Yes, we still have a lot of cases in court that start from the PDP and the Labour Party that's still trying to fight the mandate. But as today, the mood is just, it's a mixed feelings. A party rejoicing, the other party hoping that the president will be sent out from the office and all that. Of course, it is expected. It is expected, especially when the candidate is not popular among the people, right? But then the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is still the ultimate, is still superior to any other opinion or feelings of anybody. So basically, that's the mood right now in the country.
What are the expectations from the youth, especially from this new government, in your reading of the grounds?
Yeah, the truth is the last 8 years hasn't really been good as regards to the economy, the social life, the standard of living, the cost of living of the average Nigerians, right? And in that case, there's a lot of work the present president has to do. In fact, at the point, I was saying that he has a lot to do that to the point that I don't think I want to envy him in this particular election, right? So in one ground, the youth are hoping that the inflation will be taken care of. The youth are hoping that there will be a large reduction of police brutality. The youth are hoping that their opinion will count. The youth are hoping that this administration will not just be as that of the President Muhammadu Buhari administration. Just like the matter of this particular administration is going on with renewed hope. Because I believe that for President Tinubu to give his campaign movement renewed hope, there is at a point the hope of the average Nigerians has been deterred and have been more of like destroyed in one way or the other. But then he came up with the matter that we want to renew the hope of Nigeria. And of course, today his body language when he was giving an inaugural speech, to some it gave a feeling that okay, he knows what he's doing. He gave a feeling of this president has a firm command of words and command. He knows what is expected of him. So averagely, the average Nigerian just wants to survive. They want to live. They want to matter in their country. They want to survive. They want to be able to say, "Oh, I'm Nigerian." I think that is not so much to ask from anybody.
It's a new president, the same political party, new government. What's your gut feeling? Things will change?
Yeah. So I've always been one person that wants to ask myself, can you differentiate a candidate from his political party? Can you differentiate them? Because if you cannot differentiate a party from a political party, it means that whatever happens in the last 8 years might probably repeat itself in the next 4 years or the next 8 years. But of course, the person in question is making a lot of persons have different feelings as regards to that particular conversation. Reason is because this person has been able to manage an economy of that happens manage the economy of Lagos. He has been the governor of Lagos and has always been someone that was meant that more like have a direction of how Lagos wants to be. So if you check his major campaign when he was campaigning for this particular election, his major strong point is that he changed Lagos. His bragging right is just that he was able to transform Lagos. The IGR with the revenue Lagos increase under his word. He has a master plan. And another thing is that he has to sports talent. He has a team to sports talent. In fact, he was being called the kingmaker, right? So with that being aside, people want to believe that his administration is going to spot key talent that will, in one way or the other, move the economy to the next level. They also want to feel like Tinubu will make whatever he did in Lagos is going to replicate the same in the federation, right? But the truth is that Nigeria is not Lagos. Lagos is not Nigeria. The state is different for the federation, and I want to believe he understands that. I also want to be optimistic that he will be able to pick enough technocrats that will manage institutions, that will manage some portfolios that is required. For instance, one of the things he said today is that subsidy is gone. That was a bold statement to make. That was something that a lot of presidents have been running away from. Back in 2012, when Nigerians went on the streets to protest. But he came and told you subsidy is not sustainable. Everybody agreed it's not sustainable. And he was wanting to tell you that subsidy is gone. Even though after his announcement of subsidy is gone, there happens to be queue in the streets of Lagos right now and Abuja. The first scarcity just began all of a sudden. Right? So tomorrow, a lot of Nigerians are going to suffer this, going to be going to work tomorrow, which means that no person will obviously feel like, oh, this president has entered and then we are feeling pain among other things. But he should be right to do. One big person that believes that subsidy should have even left long ago. Yeah. But then I want to believe that he's different from his party. I want to believe in the person based on his antecedents and all that.
Very well. Thank you for speaking to us, Victor.
Thank you so much.
That's Victor Ejechi. He's a journalist with a cable newspaper.